The committee is chaired by the Buakwa South Member of Parliament, who is actually joining us on the line. Honorable Atta Akyea, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, my brother. And it's my pleasure to be with you.
Let me just issue a disclaimer now, because I noticed that a media interview was quoted before your committee today, which media interview was the basis for which the lawyer for the witnesses sought to have some of your committee members recuse themselves. Let me just say that we are calling you for education purposes and for guidance. And while we do that, we would ask you how you navigated that. The lawyer said that some of your committee members had granted interviews in which interviews they had prejudiced the sitting of the committee. He thought that these members should recuse themselves, but you defended your committee members. Could you enlighten us on what the position you took was?
In the first instance, that was the post, that was pre-evidence gathering. And when members at the House floor are commenting on matters which the speaker will use as a basis of making the referral, they have the right to speak on the matter. And if even what they said there were anything to go by, it was like, oh, if that is what happened, So they have not come to a conclusion of the matter, but based on what was said, which is just, preliminary matters before the speaker will make up his mind to make a referral. If this is the scenario, then they carry grave consequences. And I didn't see how that could be a major prejudice to the witnesses. I didn't see that at all. You can't take their right to comment on the matter on the House floor. And if it's coming from a newspaper, then maybe they should verify it. Or if it's not coming from, the social media, they should be verified. But what was even more serious for me is that I didn't constitute the committee to investigate this man as a speaker. So I cannot invite them to recuse themselves when we make proper findings of it. I can't do that. It's for the speaker to say that, well, certain matters have come to me, and unfortunately they are so grave in their consequences that you can't be worthy umpires, in trying to, interrogate this matter. So this is where we were, and I told those people who raised the preliminaries that, I don't think it's going to affect, what the committee is going to do from my perspective. And we want to be extremely fair to everybody. But as for their right as members of parliament to run some commentaries before the referral was made, you can't take it from them. What will be very bad, and around that the evidence is unfolding, the members of the committee are making prejudicial statements. That is, before we conclude the findings of fact, they started giving their verdict to the general public. That would have been very, very bad. I don't think they are too unprofessional to go to that extent.
All right. We also noticed that the origin of the tape itself was questioned. Again, you dismissed that. Could you help us, because you refer to the evidence rule and so on? What is your defense in the tape which was being denied? Which tape's content was being denied? Why should we rely on that evidence then, if it's a problematic audio recording?
Yes, it was a bare submission. There was no foundation for it. That's why I even said, if you say something is not the original, where is the original? You must know the original before you can question the fact that what we are having is a pseudo tape or is being doctored and the rest of it. But we said this is what we have. And then they even went ahead and said the chief, Bukri Nabu, said he has handed over the original to the president. So we'll see. If it's not the original and there is some original that will come later, we'll go into it. See, because we want to be very, very forthright with everybody and to tell the general public that there is no malice aforethought. I keep stressing this. In fact, this is the first time I'm seeing some of the witnesses. I've never met them before. And we don't sit as a committee of parliament doing witch hunting or politicizing what should be a fact-finding mission. I don't think that is why we're called upon to sit on this matter.
I see.
So the right thing will be done. if we fetch the original, we'll make it available. Even today, we made them see the transcripts, what has gone on before. And then they were interested in the terms of reference. We gave it to them. And they wanted also to have a transcript of the tape, which they say is not original. We've given it to them. And it behoves them to do what is needful. You see, because we should also give them the space to put their case across.
The commissioner denied portions of the tape, admitted to some of portions of the tape after committee members pressed him. How should we regard his acceptance or otherwise of the tape? Should we deal with him as denying the tape, or you should deal with him as accepting the tape? How are you proceeding as a committee?
Well, that is evaluation of evidence, and it's not right for me to pre-charge it, because we have a witness who is saying at one breath that the tape is not my voice. And at a certain point, conceding that that's my voice. And he will comment on certain matters, he will comment on certain matters. These are all matters for the committee to evaluate as to the integrity of the witness and the rest of it. So I crave your kind indulgence that being the chairman of the committee, I will not run commentary on what he said, because the committee should sit and evaluate this evidence. Mind you, the evidence is not complete. It's coming tomorrow. And even when it's finished, there is necessity to look into recalling him or giving evidence in camera, the rest of it.
The part about in camera, though, was a bit surprising. So your committee would be forced to deal with some other matters that you deem sensitive or bordering on national security in camera. That's what it means.
That's what it means, because the committee cannot use that forum to endanger national security. That would be wrong.
But if he said to you that he doesn't want to talk about this matter because in public and it's a national security matter, and yet he was divulging that to a civilian who actually went ahead to record him, he would have already done what he's saying he would not do, no?
Yeah, well, let us respect. We won't amplify his indiscretions, if any, you understand? And we'll use the forum that we have, that exalted forum called a committee of parliament, to commit errors. So no matter what has gone on ahead, before we were put together, we are walking a very, 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 very thin line, and we want to be sure that even a witness will not come to embarrass, the whole, security setup. If you came and you said, you wanted to tell us all that is wrong with the police, it shouldn't be this forum. All that is wrong with the police is not the subject matter of the inquiry. We're talking about politicization of the police and how it could affect the electoral fortunes of the players. Now, if an IGP can influence the outcome of the election and the rest of it. It's not the entire security workings of the police which is at stake. And we need to be very careful that we do not enlarge the parameters of the interrogation as if we want to unearth all the problems of the police. That's not what we're called to do.
I see. Is that
be very careful about it.
Is that the same reasoning behind your objection to a question on whether the Commissioner of Police possessed an MPP membership card?
Yes, I was concerned that we should always also protect a witness, and even the courts do that. Understand? So if there's a question which, if you like, if he should answer, will be self-incriminating, or it will come to haunt him. Now, what is he talking about when he was a commissioner of police? He was paying dues to the NPP headquarters. That could be very, very serious. And meanwhile, this gentleman is not finished with the police yet. What if there is a service inquiry and is demoted and he loses his entitlement? Because as a commissioner, you go with his entitlement and the rest of it. So where he was going has serious implications for Commissioner, what's it called?
Alex Mensah.
Alex Mensah.
But Mr. Chairman, if he knows the rules of Ghana Police Service, and the rules of public service and decides to still owe a member card of a political party and continues to pay dues, then the chiefs should fall where they may. No, he should be penalized for engaging in that. And if he says he does not have a card, then we make progress. But now your decision to object to that question leaves doubts in our minds as to whether he has a party card or not. And if he has a party card, then his professionalism is questioned. And even the issue of demotion or his salary and retiring on his salary could all come up. We should have heard that, don't you think? I mean, in the interest of the public.
No, I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, if it is the committee that is going to open this man's entire life for interrogation, then it is very serious. It is not his entire life and what he does privately. What is at stake, and if I should stress it again, is this man saying that we have an IGP who is so NDC in orientation that if we don't remove him, MPP can't break the age? These are the parameters of interrogation.
And that borders on politics.
Sorry?
That borders on politics and his politicking, because he used the phraseology we will lose in reference to the New Patriotic Party.
He didn't make bones about it that he has a UP traditional background and by inference that he has sympathies towards MPP. There's no dispute about it. But my little worry was that if you pushing somebody to say, are you a card-bearing member of MPP, which entails that do you donate money to MPP while serving at the same breath as a commissioner of police? I think that has serious consequences. That was my judgment anyway. I believe that was too much of a question to ask, and his answer might incriminate him. Today, do we know the number of people who might be in the civil service but they donate to MPP or NDC privately? We don't know.
Is it lawful to do? Is it lawful to do that? It's not, right?
It's unlawful.
So if you have the avenue to unearth one unlawfulness, you should have gone ahead with it, oh? Well,
by the decision I took, I felt strongly that the man has shown his sympathy towards MPP. To go too far afield to get him to talk about whether he pays money to MPP, I believe that it was too serious and it was on the verge of self-incrimination. That's how I saw it.
We noticed too, that you discharged one of your witnesses. What does that mean?
It means that for now, we have gathered his evidence. And if there are residual issues, we can call him back.
I mean, the gentleman who said he knew nothing about the communication Bugri Nabu claimed, and he missed his call and all of that.
Yes, that is for now what he said. We have it. There will be necessity to call the chief Bugri Nabu to face him, because he was calling him. Now, are we meeting at Afrikiko to proceed to the Jubilee House? So it's not over yet, but for now, what he said is on record. When we evaluate the evidence alone, there's a need to bring the chief Bugri Nabu back. I mean, we'll bring him back because we've not finished with the interrogation at all. Even now, we are having a situation in which somebody is talking about an original tape. If the original tape should enlarge our interrogation, we'll use the original tape, give it to everybody, enlarge the interrogation. We don't want to do a shoddy job.
Okay, thank you so much. Should we expect Bugri Nabu to come and cross-examine COP Alex Mensah, for instance? Because there were some issues that he disputed. And in fact, the gentleman who spoke before said that Bugri Nabu came before you to peddle lies. Is there a possibility that these witnesses can cross-examine each other before your committee? Is that allowed?
Yes, it's possible because like the issues are joined. It's possible. And if it is so, then let this man come and assert on oath. And if the people who are there will want to ask him questions, they will ask him, and he will also ask them questions. And in that, we could just resolve the controversy. So when there are controversial issues, certainly I am of the view that we need to call the parties back. And they'll have to cross-source. And then we will listen to what X said and what Y said in response to the rest of it and come to our judgment.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. We will be looking out for you tomorrow when you reconvene as a committee.